Did you get a chance to look at the one off the Do you want to look at it?
Yeah. Did you see what that is?
I tried to get through that thing. I was supposed to be able to watch it or read that thing in lecture yesterday, but it's like we had student presentations with professors and stuff. So it's like great.
When you guys do it?
I read like 40 pages. It reads really easy, honestly. That 180 pages thing, that'll take an hour. It's like a paragraph per page. It's hilarious. Like it's tiny. It looks like it's really intimidating.
So I thought it was like 200 and some pages.
It's like 100. I mean, it is 180 pages, but it's literally each page takes like 15 seconds to read. It's actually kind of funny. I didn't finish it. But, that's like the like overview that document that they put up. I think it's in chat. Is it 5? I had to search for it a little bit. It's in one of the discussion posts.
I propose to, and we talk about the expenses in this one here for the treasury option. Okay, that is fine. The other one is
No, it's not.
I mean, still part of our discussion. This company here, how to negotiate the price on that. Okay, so let's get going again. And I will open up chapter 5. First, I want to mention a few things here. Again, I said it toward the end of Tuesday, but that was in a rush. Bankers acceptance, yeah, you just take a quick look on these 2 slides. And we de-emphasize it because now it's not that popular in practice. In the old days, it's important when we deal with international trade. But now with analogy, oh, what's that?
You said it's cool.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, so anyway, it's not that important. Here I just want to quickly point to the Wall Street Journal, our website, and if you scroll down, or you go to this rate, okay, section, and click on the money rate. You'll see quite a bit about the money market instruments. So onto this page. Quickly point at yesterday. I mean, on Tuesday, also give us a little bit information on the money market instruments. So, yeah. Of course, not surprisingly, more information is on this money rates page. That you see the federal funds, the discount rate, federal funds rates, treasury bill, both here. Always this commercial paper, US as well as Euro for people, on and off. I mean, we went through practically all of them as part of our discussion on chapter 5. So, yeah, this part really I meant it into really yourself. The chapter did a good job in talking about the participants in the different segments of the money market securities. Now, just a quick, a couple of quick comments regarding the international side of it. And I think last Thursday, I don't remember who mentioned about the as a part of Chapter 4 discussion. Someone mentioned about the LIBOR, and he said it right. That's exactly. I mean, this is just like a federal funds rate. In the sense that, in this sense, okay, in fact, the full name of a LIBOR is informative. It's interbank. I mean, for the federal funds rate, it is about the borrowing among the member banks. Okay, between the bank and the Fed. And here, the LIBOR is the same idea. Okay, it's a rate of a very short-term loans. Again, mostly overnight among the banks. Okay, so in that sense, there's a closer parallel between the Fed funds rate and the LIBOR rate. Other than that, yeah, you just read through the section in chapter 5. Okay, I also like to quickly comment on a question that raised by you. Yeah, Avish. Remember, I mean, when we work through this numerical example, okay, you ask about, oh, what is that formula? Okay. I mean, at that time, we were calculating the bond equivalent yield. Okay. If I just say that we don't even need to keep focusing on which formula because there's an intuition behind it. But if you really need to know which formula, if you know, again, that if you were aware that at that point we were calculating the bond equivalent yield, that is the bond equivalent yield formula. Okay. What I did there is just a simple algebraic rearrangement. Rather than express it this way, what I have is what? PF divided by P0 and minus 1. That's equivalent to C. Okay, and our discussion is, 365 divided by what? I mean, say the 6 months. So 1 year have 2 6 months. So things like that. As I emphasized, when I work through that particular numerical example, which is the very last one, and that's a handout. Remember, the bank discount yield as well as a single payment yield are only for quotation purpose. When we measure the return on our investment, okay, we are talking about the bond return yield, not bank discount yield, not a single payment. Okay. We use the bank discount yield to help us convert the quote into price. We use the single payment yield to help us figure out, okay, how much interest that we need to add to the par value on the maturity date. But again, neither of those two yields are direct measure of the return on our investment. Is it clear? I emphasize it many times. Again, still miss it, and I don't know. And what I can do. Okay, with that, we are done with chapter 5. And some of you came in late. So I want to point out here, the second home assignment is posted. Okay, Tuesday afternoon, and it's due next Tuesday, right before the exam too. And as you can see here, the coverage is a chapters 3, 4, 5, and part of the 6 that we will go to, for example, and a related discussion on this particular topic. Okay. And since we have gone through this a couple times, I mean, you are all set to work through most of the problems, even without today's attention. So don't wait till the last few days. And I strongly encourage you both to do more of this kind of activities. Again, don't wait till next Monday, please. Okay. And just jump in. I mean, everyone can jump in to help out. Rather than just wait for me to step in. Okay. See, I mean, this is not only you can get some help from the class, including myself, you will also get a credit for participation. Okay. And learn from the first exam. I don't trick you folks. My exam problems are just like the examples that we went through in class, maybe on a slide, maybe on a separate handout. The practice problem are more problem set. I mean, you just need to do your problem practice. Not just do it one time. I mean, you need to do it more to really get a good hand on it. Because during the exam, the time pressure is there. You cannot, I mean, spend 45 minutes on one problem. You need to do it fast as well. Does it make sense? I mean, we don't have 5 hours for the exam. Having said that, the next Tuesday, we do have a small advantage compared to the first exam in terms of time. I checked with Professor Valero, and she told me that she will not give an exam next Tuesday. Okay, so still come in early, just like what you both did, and I did as well last time. But this time we should be able to come into the room and start it. I mean, hopefully at least 5 minutes, earlier. And also we can extend a little bit after 1:45 to squeeze more time into the second exam. Okay, now I put more thought about the coverage of the second exam, and I remember right. Okay. He asked me about the topic where chapter 6 is on, and at that time I told him that yes, I mean through what we do today. And then Stephen request I put together the home assignment and post it. I promised him Tuesday evening, but I posted Tuesday afternoon anyway. And I have that problem, the very last problem that I showed you. And I put more thought on it. I said, well, I mean, if you look at the syllabus among the 3 exams that counts, okay, the highest one automatically after the cut of the B accounts for 26%, and the other 2 20% each. So let me give you this opportunity, okay, to do your best and lock in a good score for that 26%. So for the second exam, that's the coverage to be chapters 3, 4, and 5. However, you still need to do another problem on the on chapter 6 on the homework problem set 2 for credit. I'm not skipping that problem on homework problem set 2, even though the exam 2 the coverage is chapters 3, 4, and 5. Is it clear? Again, I mean, that's why I can offer you folks really need you. Okay, take care of the business yourself as well. It's about your learning. Okay, with that, let's go into chapter 6. For chapter 5, we focus on the money markets, securities, and chapter 6, we focus on the capital markets. And we will learn a number of the capital market assessments. Oh, I'm sorry, I missed you. Sorry.
Just to check. And I'm not solving the problem. I don't see
Okay, when the money market securities are defined as those securities that mature within a year. Okay, the capital market is what? That's the opposite. We are talking about the securities that mature not within a year. That means longer than 1 year. Unlike the money market securities, they are practically debt instruments. For capital markets, we do have both a debt and equity. That means the stock market, people start from the stocks. Again, we don't go into the equity side. So in the coming weeks, we will look at again a number of bonds market or bonds instruments. Okay. Yeah, I mean the statements on the slides are quite self-explanatory. In finance, we know that the definition of short-term versus a long-term is anything that mature within a year, we call them a short-term, and then anything beyond is a long-term. So that's what we see here. And we can classify the bonds into different segments according to the issuer of it. And if we quickly come down to here, then we see that we have a treasury, a note, and a bonds issued by the federal government. We have a municipal bonds issued by the state and local government. We have a corporate bonds, and of course, issued by the corporation. And then the external side of it are the international bonds that are bonds are issued, by either still a U.S. issue of the overseas or foreign issuers. So we worry about a bit of more details regarding the international bonds after the second exam. Okay, so let's come back to here. Yeah, bonds are known as the fixed income securities, and that's why I say typically bonds are fixed income securities in the sense that the coupon rate once it's issued, it is fixed. Okay, and fixed income in the sense that periodically and most commonly once every 6 months we collect a fixed amount of coupon income. Okay, however, we do have some non-fixed income securities. Okay, in a quick example, like the mortgage of bonds, you heard about the ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages. Okay, for the ARMs, the way they adjust it is the interest rate adjusted. I don't think. I'm not sure we can get to that point today. That's one specific type of treasury securities. Okay, the TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. they adjust not the coupon rate, they adjust the principal. Okay, so that is kind of interesting. We will learn about it. Okay. That's a little bit. Yep. I mean, it's a quick show of the breakdown among different issues. So let's go through one type at a time. Start with the federal government as the issuer, namely the treasury notes and bonds. Short form is a T note and a T bonds. We learned about the treasury bill. That's a short form of as a T bills. Okay, and yeah, we do understand that. Why do we issue treasury securities? Because the governments need to borrow money. Okay, and why? Because when there's a deficit in the federal budgets, the government need to cover it. The deficit happens when the expenditure is greater than the tax collected. And if you have paid attention to the news lately this year, we hit another record of what? A deficit. Right? And why? Is it a slowdown of the economy, so the tax revenue? I'm sorry. It's a big jump in the expenditure. I mean, what is the main source this year of a big jump in the deficit? The corporate tax cut. Okay. Remember, the tax cut and Jobs Act acts that will cut the business tax rate quite a bit, 30-something% to 21% of threats, and then also lower the personal income tax rates. And all of them would bring down the tax rapidly. Okay. At the same time, there's a number change on the expenditure side. So no surprise, as we look at this formula, of course we should expect the deficit to go up. Okay. Now, with that, then naturally also pay attention to the news and any idea what the government is planning to do to shrink this deficit again? Cut on. Yeah, cut on some expenditures. Yeah, a bit more on the social program side of it. The argument for the tax cut and Jobs Act is okay. We lower the tax, especially on the business side, that can attract more employment and business back. That helps to increase the base. Okay, so let's look forward to that. Okay, so let's take a closer look at the treasury notes and bonds. And since we have been talking about this for a while, so we can go pretty quick on it. Remember, as it relates to the chapter 2, the rate, or in the context of the bonds, the yield on the bond equals to what? We have the risk-free rate, right? By itself is composed of real risk-free rate and the inflation premium, right? Then we have a list of the default risk or default risk premium. So that is the context that this slide fits into. Okay, back then we learned about default risk, right? But treasury securities, we don't need to worry too much about. Okay, we need we can upgrade more money. We can, politically is less likely to raise the tax rate to collect more revenue. So, because the treasury securities are practically not subject to default risk, So that helps to lower the yield or the required rate of return on it, okay, compared to corporate bonds interest rate. Now this is chapter 3, interest rate risk, as I have been talking about it several times. Even though treasury securities are default risk free, they are surely not interest rate risk free, particularly the price risk. In fact, for treasury bonds, what is the longest maturity for treasury bonds? Yeah, 30 years. Try to relate to what you learned in chapter 3. When we are talking about a 30-year bond, its duration is what? Quite long. When the duration is quite long, what does it mean as far as the interest rate risk is concerned? It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Think about it. Take the extreme. For a 30-year treasury bond with zero coupon, what is its duration? Zero coupon. What's the relationship between the duration and term to maturity for zero coupon? They're the same for zero coupon. Okay. So for 30-year zero coupon treasury bonds, its duration is 30 years. Right? Relate to what you have learned in chapter 3. For a bond that has 30-year duration, if the interest rate goes up by 100 basis points, what will happen to its price? It will go down by how much? Very close to 30. Okay. What have you learned about how to use a duration, modified duration convexity to predict the bond price? Let's put aside the convexity for now. Let's use a modified duration. How do you predict a bond price using modified duration? Given a change in the interest rate. Yes, as I said, go up by 100 basis points. The percentage change in the bond price will be how much? If the interest rate goes up by 100 basis points. We're talking about application of what you have learned. Why do we learn about duration, modified duration, capacity? How do we use them? What did we use it? Or what did we use it? So it's simply the price. Right. And what the formula, the calculation did, we went through a number of numerical examples. And in fact, I gave you the answer already. If you have paid close attention to what I said. Predict price, right? We use a modified duration to predict the new bond price. Because a modified duration link the change in interest rate with what? The percentage change in the bond price. Right? So, again, for 30 years, zero coupon, treasury bonds. Its duration is how much again? 30 years. And it's a modified duration, we will 30 over 1 point, zero, nowadays, 3.5, something like that, around 3.5. So the modified duration is still quite high, right? You follow that? So let's say 20, I just picked it up, let's say 20. Now the interest rate goes up by 100 basis points, as I said. What would happen to this treasury bond price? Fall by how much? Percentage change in the bond price equals to, I think we call that discussion, the topic on using a modified duration to predict the bond price. Percentage change in the bond price equals to what? Negative modified duration times the change in interest rate, right? So, connect the dots. Let's say the modified duration is 28. Probably it's a little more, a bit more than 28, so you divide by 1.25. Yeah, anyway. Interest rate goes up by 100 basis points. What would happen to the bond price? Exactly. Okay. This is what you are expected to be able to come up with that kind of answer fast when you go to work. Okay. Absolutely. Remember, this is the reality. If you think that you can do the calculation faster than a software program, you're wrong. If you think that your calculation will be more accurate than a software program, probably. So, how do you win those technology? I mean, they are computing power. They are created by human being, by the user. They are the slaves, so to speak. And we are supposed to be the master, the one creator. So focus on not just know how to do the calculation, but also what to think about it. Have I told you folks about how I see the computer software stuff, the GIGO thing? Yeah, garbage in garbage. So why garbage in garbage are this? Understand what the software, what the tools are doing to us. I mean, and graphical reality is that's why I do that fintech stuff, because one of the possible for papers or topics, even though we don't discuss it, in a full state or in any classes here, it's already here, and they will dominate the future. Okay. So it becomes even more important to not just focusing on how to do a calculation, but understand what we are doing, what that calculation is doing for us. I mean, really, the on this. AI is a big threat. Finance professional cannot be, escape from this threat. Even for investment advising, it's already, done quite a bit through the robot advising things. Okay. Liquidity risk for treasury notes bonds are just like treasury bills. It's no big deal. It's a huge, very active secondary market supporting it. Okay, so really among these three types of risk, as far as the treasury notes and bonds are concerned, the real one that we need to worry about, and we need to worry about is a lot, is this interest rate risk. Okay, particularly for the case of bonds, due to their long maturity and so the long duration. Now, I'd like to highlight, point out here explicitly for the liquidity risk. Basically, what I say here is the newly issued treasury securities have less liquidity risk than the seasoned ones. Okay, and if you think about it, it doesn't make sense because when a newly issued hit the market, it suck up the capital. Okay, that means less capital available, less funds available for those seasoned ones, and that's why the seasoned issues subject to slightly more liquidity risk. Not a big concern. It's still a differential between the seasoned versus a newly issued treasury securities as far as the liquidity is concerned. Okay. So that is a risk discussion, and here is notes versus the bonds. What's the distinction? It's right here. Bonds are long term, maturity longer than 10 years, and notes is in between the 10 years. Yeah, we still go with the default par value of $1,000 in our calculation, except if it's otherwise specified. Okay, and this is what I talked about very briefly early on. Okay, again, bonds are fixed income security, and that of course applies to treasury notes and bonds as well, except for this, the TIPS, Treasury Inflation Protection Securities. Okay, and the adjustment is not on the coupon rate, but it's on what? The principal. Okay, of course we will go through a numerical example to help you better understand what we are talking about here. Quotation. Now, you might want to highlight it. Okay. The quotations of bonds are more friendly than those for the money market securities. However, the price of quotation for bonds are not as straightforward as a stock, because for stock, the quotation is in dollars, right? For bonds, it's in percentage of the par value, okay, not dollars. But it's easy to convert it into dollars because by default, again, the par value is $1,000. So you just multiply that as a percentage of 1,000 to convert it into dollars. Even just a few years ago, that's another challenge in interpreting the quotation for treasury securities because it's not a regular decimal, but they express it as 30 seconds. But now, life is easier in the regular decimals. So let's look at a numerical example. I update the slide by getting a quote from Monday's data. So the numbers that we saw on the Monday's data, that means the transaction that took place last Friday. And that's what it means, December 19, 2018. So that's what we have. The informations are quite, again, self-explanatory. Okay, the first piece of information tells us the month, date, and the year of the maturity. So we know exactly from right here that we are talking about the issue that matured on the 15th of November in 2042. Okay. So this is a what? Treasury bond, not note. Why so? Yeah, we know for sure maturity is longer than 10 years. And I bet that when the bond was issued, it was a 30-year bond. Okay. And that was an issue on in which year? Yeah, 2012. Okay. And second piece of information is the coupon rate. Of course, always expressed on the annual basis, 2.75. Again, as a percentage. Remember, the coupon rate is only for us to calculate what? Coupon payment. Never use coupon rate as what? As a discount rate. Never use it. Don't do it again. Okay? Like some of you did in the first exam. Use a coupon rate as a discount rate. You're supposed to hear me. Never use a coupon rate as a discount rate. Use it to figure out the coupon payment, just like what we see here. Now this is the annual rate times $1,000 gives us $27.5, but that is for the year. However, treasury bonds, I pay a coupon on a semi-annual basis. So any coupon that we receive will be what? $13.75 on $1,000 par value. Okay, now this too is what we need to pay a close attention. Not only, as I said, emphasized early on, these two numbers here are expressed as a percentage of par value. That means that they are not a dollar sign, so to speak. The additional piece of information is the difference between a bid and ask. The bonds are the dealers of markets. Okay, that's what you have probably learned in 07. Okay. So these are the dealers of both. That means that they are expressed from the perspective of the dealers. You, including me, are what? Investors. Okay. So take a closer look. The bid quote here is the highest price that the dealer is willing to pay for the bond. Okay? So that means that when you want to sell the bond, that is the quote you use. Okay? Versus the ask quote is the lowest price that the dealer is willing to sell you the bond. That means you, as the investors, want to do what? Buy the bond. You need to pay it. I use the ask quote. Are we good? Okay. And what is the dealer's profits? The bid ask spread. So in this case, how much are we talking about? Again, express it as a percentage. Of course, the ask quote is always higher than the bid quote. That's why they can make some profits. And the difference is how much? $2.90. As a percentage.
As a percentage, it's just 0.29%.
Oh, is the change not good? Be careful. 3.1, 3%. Point 0.0313% exactly. Okay, remember, these are percent. In percent, the difference is 0.0313%. You might say, well, what's a big deal? But you think about it, when you're a dealer, you're talking about transaction maybe in the hundreds of millions dollars of par value. So when you multiply 0.0313% with hundreds of millions dollars, you are quite rich. You are quite wealthy. Okay. Tables changes very straightforward. Okay, again, as I said several times already, the most right-hand side is true for the treasury bill, is true for treasury bonds, and now it's true for corporate bonds, and on and on. There's a column here. There's the bond equivalent yield. Okay, that's why it's important. Again, back in chapter 5, that we learned about the bond equivalent yield. Even though the money market securities start with quoted using the bank discount yield or the single payment. Okay? Are we all good so far? Okay, treasury strips. In fact, it has a very interesting story, historical background. Of course, the treasury bonds and notes have been moving around for hundreds of years. And say the long run is they are coupon bonds, right? And we learned that again from chapter 3 is for zero coupon bond, its duration is the same as its term to maturity, right? However, for coupon bonds, that its duration would be what compared to its term to maturity? Will be shorter, right? The higher the coupon, the shorter will be the duration. Other factors being equal, right? You follow that? Okay. And say here's a situation. For bonds, unlike the stocks, individual investors are like us and not the major players in the bonds market. So mainly it's an institutional investors, such as a pension fund, such as an insurance company. And you think about it, okay, put yourself in the shoes of the pension fund of an insurance company, let's say life insurance company. Okay, what would be your liabilities?
Clients. For life insurance company, I would say your clients.
Right. And that is what? You don't anticipate it happen right away. Yeah, it's long time down the road. Okay. So the liability is what? Long term. Long duration. So you want an asset for the long, shorter duration. Long, right? You mentioned to offset the impact the changes in the interest rate, right? Okay, that's it. My liability is for 30 years. Yeah, we have a 30-year treasury bond. But the problem is treasury bond have what? That means its duration is what? Yeah, shorter than 30 years. So that's a mismatch. Will you follow the discussion? So that means that's a demand for long duration, high quality bonds by the institutional investors. But the supply is limited. Okay. Remember the whole idea of the financial intermediaries, that is the focus of the 406. When there's a mismatch, then someone needs to step in, right? To rearrange a package. And that is what this historical background comes into picture. Those are smart guys on the Wall Street, like a Merrill Lynch, Goldman Sachs. Wait a minute. Okay. Those institutional investors want a high quality, long duration securities. We don't have it here, but we have treasury bonds. Surely, high quality, right? So do you know what they did? What they did? They purchased a lot of long-term, 30-year treasury bonds as a collateral. Okay? And then they turn around to issue to break this 30-year treasury bonds into pieces. You can think about it in terms of cash flow. A 30-year treasury bond, as far as cash flows are concerned, is a portfolio of what? A good number of a coupon, right? The shortest one you come in 6 months, and then the next one in a year on, and the last piece is a 30 year from now, right? And then we have a big guy there, just a one big guy, the principal repayment. That is what 30 years. So what they do is literally strip a coupon off from the principal separate. Okay? And sell that, see? I mean, when I separate a coupon from the principal, that the principal becomes a what? Zero coupon, right? And so 30 years is a 30-year duration as well. Okay? You are the pension fund, you are the what? Life insurance company. You love that? You love that. So you're willing to pay more money for it. Does it make sense? Let's set that over there. Because that is this is a hedging instrument. And so the Merrill Lynch, they make good money. But they did provide good service to meet the unmatched need. Okay? And they call those with some animal names, the tigers, the cat. Do you think about it? Not put yourself in the shoes of the federal government, the Treasury Department. What we say is, one day they woke up, they said, wait a minute, those are my securities, right? Those are Treasury securities. Why do I let them make good money? Why am I doing it myself? Does that make sense? See that? They just do exactly the same thing. Guess what? The market worked. When the Treasury Department, issued the strip, what happened to those tigers and cats? It disappeared. Okay, that's why now we only have this Treasury strips.
They completely disappear?
I'm sorry?
Do they completely disappear or are they still?
Oh yeah, they completely disappeared. Yeah. Okay, got a picture? So, here are the example. Again, I got the quote from the Wall Street Journal website, okay, on the same date. So take a look. Take a quick comparison of the BS book here from the strip to when we look at in slide 8. And think about it, does it make sense? Which cell there is missing here, and why so? Yeah, coupon. Right, exactly. Because the strip we know that's 0, so we don't need to specify it. Okay, then again, compare a bit both here versus there. And think about it, does it make sense? Yeah, it's not exactly the same term to maturity, but it's pretty close. Just 3 years apart. The strip is much lower, right? Compared to the coupon part. Does that make sense? Sure, it makes sense. Right? You throw away all those coupons. Remember, the bond price is the present value of all the future cash. Now you pick out all those intermediate cash flows. Many of them remember. Not quite 60, it's a 50 something. So, no surprise. Okay, anyway, quickly, when will this strip mature? Yeah, August of 15, 2040. Okay, now, how much will you pay for purchasing this strip with $8,000 of full value? Okay, you folks left-hand side take care of the purchase, and you folks take care of selling. So you folks do the second bullet, and then you folks do the third bullet. Yeah, you folks are investors. Okay. Always take the role of the investors. Unless I specify that you are the dealer. It's unlikely that I will do that. So for the second bullet, and for the third bullet, 3870.88. That's correct. And you do it by what? You use which quote? The S, right? Because you are buying, so you need to use the S quote. So we have what? 48.386%. Time, see? I specify the par value to be 8,000, so you cannot use 1,000 in the calculation. Okay, the other side. How much would you receive?
Are you talking about like a profit received from selling the difference between the bid and the ask price, or are you talking just?
No, you are the investors.
I'll go with the investors. So 2,414 cents.
Okay, 2,414 10 cents. Again, this time you use the big quote, right? And for the given information, that means $5,000 par value. You get the idea, okay? When you use a bid versus an ask, depending on the where you are, which side that you are on in the one transaction. Okay, I just give you the answer for the closing ask quote, which is min on the previous trading day. Okay, so you just adjust these two for such. When I say the change is a negative, that means that the previous day the ask quote will be higher. That's what we have here. And you go home to go through your financial calculator. It's a simple calculation. It have a review example 6.3. Okay. The challenge here is that you need to figure out the time to maturity. Okay, that means the end. The answer is, I mean, when I did it, I got a number different from this, but not that too far away from it. So, okay, are we good? Okay, life is easy when we are dealing with a strip in terms of answering this kind of questions. Okay, because for strip, they are what? 0 to 1. But when we are dealing with the more regular ones, so to speak, and when we try to figure out how much we need to pay or how much we are going to receive from a transaction, even when we ignore the commission, we need to make one more adjustment. which is the accrued interest. And with the accrued interest, that distinguish the full or dirty price from the clean price. We call this as a clean price, just on the security. The full or dirty price is a clean price plus the accrued interest. Are we good? Okay. So those exercises are just a clean price. But they are also the final answer for the case of strips because we don't need to worry about accrued interest, given that they are zero coupon bonds. I'm not going to spend time on this. This is just the bond valuation formula that you learned in 4.1 we reviewed earlier here. 4.6, if you talk 4.7 on taking it, you have seen that as well. There's a note I'd like to quickly bring your attention to this. Okay, chapter 6, a forum. And get a forum on the landing session. I have this. And you try with different browsers, copy and paste it. Basically, it has a good number of numerical examples related to bonds, bond price, yield, those are calculations. If you still need help to review, okay. I extended over, several weeks ago, and only one emailed me, and I did, send her my full one that lecture notes concerning the bonds. Okay. Anyway, so let's focus on how do we figure out the accrued interest. Okay, now what is the idea here? Okay, let's think about it. And here's the quote-unquote formula. I just want to emphasize this. Now we are dealing with a treasury securities. Okay, this is the industry practice. Don't argue with me. For treasury security as well as a federal government agency, bonds, in calculating the accrued interest, they need use the actual number of days. Okay, so again, you need to know, like in March is 31 days, that kind of stuff. You don't need to memorize it, but it's your responsibility. And not for the second exam, but for the third exam. I'm not aware when the second exam is relevant because for social review, you need the end thing. Write down chapter 31 fabric. You know what I'm talking.
We can put that on our sheet stuff. We can put that on the sheet.
Oh, yes. Yep. Okay. So let's learn about what is it. You might want to change a few numbers here on your copy because after I print the copies, I noticed that the authors have not updated the settlement period. Okay, that's why on your copy you see a 2-day settlement, but nowadays a 1 day, as I told you, as part of the discussion for chapter 5. And that's the adjustment I made. Okay. But the focus is on our own exercise. Okay, let's think about it. Let's see. Relate to the our own exercise, which is what? What do we know? On slide 8, the bond mature on what date? What month? November 15, right? Remember, it pays a coupon on a semi-annual basis. The very last coupon is always paid on the maturity date. So from there, we know that on which 2 days that they will pay semi-annual coupon. May 15 and November 15, right? Good. this is a November 15 of 2018. This is a May 15, 2018. And each time it pays how much? I mean, our amount. 13.75 on $1,000 par value. But here's a 50,000 par value. So let's give you the answer. I mean the numbers. Let me see, where is it? Okay. So on the $50,000 of par value every 6 months, the coupon amount is 687.5. Is that right? I mean, yeah. Okay, good, perfect. You follow that? You follow? Okay. Okay. Now, this semi-annual coupon payment is supposed for what? To cover this period of time, right? Does it make sense? Okay. In other words, if you hold a bond for the entire 6-month period, then you deserve to collect what? The full amount of that, right? Make sense? Okay. When did the transaction occur?
19.
October 19. That is a Friday, right? So we have 1 business day. Remember, the settlement is a business day. 1 business day settlement period. That means the transfer of title will occur what? This Monday, 22nd. Do you follow that? Okay. Now you think about it. Let's see, you are buying or selling. You sold it. Okay. You sold it. You sold it, right? You ready? Pay close attention. This amount of coupon payment is for someone who will for the entire 6-month period. Since you sold it on that day, will you receive that check? You will not. Will you be happy? You want to do what? You want to get your share, right? And that is the whole idea of what? AI. Not that kind of AI, the AI in the closing interest. Does that make sense? Okay. And how do we figure that out? Again, follow this. We already got the interest divided by 2, which is what? $687.5, right? Now times what? Actual number of days since the last coupon payments. Last coupon payment is May 15, right? Start. Look at your calendar. May, 16 more days, right? June is what? 30, July 31, August 31, September is 30 plus 22. Yes.
When we take the exam, would it be too much to ask if you could like put a calendar, like a just year calendar up on the overhead so we could just kind of reference it? Just to have something to reference, to like just a year calendar so we can count days. You know what I mean?
Why don't you just write down January 31?
Yeah.
Okay, then here is what? Actual number of days, yes.
So, to be exam, could you write it down like October 19th is a Friday so we know it's going to be 3 days rather than 1 day?
Oh, that's what you are asking for? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, in the exam, I try to avoid Friday. Okay.
Because I just figured with that, if it was necessary.
Right. I thought that you were talking about so that you know January is a 31-day that kind of stuff, and that's why I said you just write it down.
Yeah.
Okay, come back to here. Actual number of days between the two coupons. So again, May, June, July, August, September, November, October, and then plus 15 days in November. So what do we have? 184, right? So the denominator is 184 days, right? You follow that? And the numerator is how many days? I'm sorry, 160 days. Okay. So let's go ahead to do a calculation. Yeah, I use a long amount in my own calculation, so I need your help. So how much is it? Let me see. It's 600 something. I'm sorry. 590 something. Okay. Yes, you're right. 597.83. Confirm? Okay, perfect. Wonderful. This is just the accrued interest. To calculate the the full price or dirty price, we need to add what? Add the clean price to it. So, okay. The full price, which is also known as the dirty price, is equal to the clean price, that is from the quote, plus the accrued interest. Okay, so how much is the clean price? Let me write down the accrued interest, 597.83. So how much is the clean price for this transaction? So it's $50,000 times what? You are selling it, right? Right? That means we should use a what? Bid or ask quote. A bid, right? That means 89.7656% on $50,000. And how much is that?
44,882.8.
882.
882. Yeah.
Okay.
80 cents.
18 cents.
80 cents.
Oh.
80.
Okay. Ooh. 80 plus that, right? And whatever the answer you both get. 45. Yeah.
45,480. 80.
80?
Yep, 63 cents.
63. Confirm?
Yes.
Okay. You got the idea? And this is that what problem? I mean the very last problem on the homework problem set 2. Chapter 6 is not on the second exam. So that is the amount you should have received from selling that $50,000 of par value in treasury bond on that day. Okay. Ignoring the commission. Okay. Yeah. Again, second exam is 345. Chapters are 345 plus the required reading as specified on the forum. Practice. If okay, I will probably on campus tomorrow If someone's, around noon time, so if someone that wants to have a appointment with me, email me. Okay? If I don't receive any email, then I will not stay.
You said that's for tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow, Friday.
So that's 2:16.